Okay, guys, 8 o'clock. Everybody leaves it to the last minute, don't they? Well, last minute or not, everyone else who gets here from now on, they're late. So you're here on time. Time for us to get started. So, Brandon, I'm going to hand it straight over to you, my friend.
All right. First of all, I just want to make sure that you can hear me on your end.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Guys, super excited for, just the opportunity to be on here. I know we do these calls every Monday, these trainings, and they're very important because you guys need to get the mentorship, leadership, and help that you need to be successful, whether it's on the business side or trading side or both. And I'm going to do a share screen here because I want to cover a subject that I've been thinking quite a bit about that I want to share with you guys and put yourself in a position to where you can be successful, but not just in the business side, not just in the financial side, but also with whole life success. And so I put together a training called Become a Millionaire and Keep Your Family. I will tell you this, it'll be very rare if you have anybody who ever do a training like this, that's in this industry, that's made the amount of money that I've made, that will do this training. You should have people jump on this call because I'm one of the few individuals that actually talks about this subject, and I'll tell you why, because I actually live it. Most people don't live this. They can't teach on it because they don't actually live it themselves. They become a millionaire, but it came at the expense of their family, right? They became a millionaire, but it came at the expense of their physical health. They may become a millionaire and become successful in their job or business, whatever it may be, and ruin relationships with other people. And so what I want to do is help you guys understand that you can't do a good job if your job is all you do. There's too many people that they work this business 7 days a week. They're on their social media all day. They're constantly checking notifications. They're constantly working the business, constantly working on the trading. And what happens is they burn themselves out. You can't do a good job if your job is all you do. You've got to have a break. Now, you're going to have people tell you, and you'll have the gurus out there tell you that, F balance and all that kind of stuff. You're listening to people that are going to get divorced. You're listening to people who are going to die early of a stroke or a heart attack. If you don't have balance in your life, if you don't have fulfillment, you're going to have a life that's a failure life, a failed life, right? Because if you don't have whole life success, you're not going to be truly successful. Remember, a guy told me, never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. There's a lot of people who in the pursuit of success have literally lost themselves. They don't even really have this identity anymore. They don't even know who they are. They have literally been burning the candle at both ends for so long that they've literally lost who they actually are. In fact, they've lost a lot of their passion and their drive for life at the same time. One of my heroes was Zig Ziglar. A lot of you guys know who Zig is. I remember back in 1999, 20 years. In fact, now it's been 21 years. He said back at that time that it's not time which is the problem, it is lack of direction. We all have 24 days or 24-hour days. And he said that, it's really the priorities in our lives. It's really, where are we directing our lives, right? Because all of us have time. And I'm going to prove that to you guys here inside the training, that every one of you, no matter what your situation is, has time. And the reason why I can say this is, look, I know what it's like to be busy. I'm married. I've got 6 kids. Maybe some of you guys are in that situation. Maybe you're not. But I know my life is extremely busy. Every weekend of the month, we've got some type of tournament going on with our kids that goes typically from 7 in the morning to about 6 o'clock at night, plus their practices and homework during the week. So I know what it's like to be busy. Now, when I talk about this, how to become a millionaire and keep your family, and if you don't have a family, I'm talking about your personal life. Can it actually be done? Can you actually really have balance? Well, the first thing is you have to have a season of your life, such as 90-day sprints. I'm inside the 90-day sprint right now. I was just in Canada, just did an event in Utah. Then I'm headed out to Europe in the month of February. I'll be gone for an entire month, which is not something that I usually do, to be away from my family for that long. But my wife, Jamie's coming in for the last stretch of it to come to the London convention, be with me for about 6 days. But you got to have a season of your life where with a business or work, you can be dedicated to launching your business. And this goes with the trading as well, where you've invested yourself a lot into the education, the trading. And what this means is that just for a bit, you're going to miss a few things, okay? There's been times where I've missed one of my kids' events or a recital at school or something like that. Though it is pretty rare, I typically attend most of stuff, but there are times, and I've told them up front, that, hey, look, daddy's got to go and do this, but I'm going to be back and I'm going to be at your next event. You're going to make up for those things that you lost with your launch and results. Because again, you're willing to give some time now to have a season later and many seasons of freedom. Okay, that's why I say this is a season of your life. This is not something that should go on forever. All right. Number two, when do I put the season? Now. Now stands for no opportunities wasted. It's right now, because there's always going to be things going on. All right. The national championships night, then it's the Super Bowl, then it's March Madness. There's always something going on. There's all sorts of activities that people have going on, or school, or whatever the case may be. They're having to work multiple jobs. Because you know that's the case, that there's always going to be things going on, I want you to start right now. Okay, there's no better time to start than right now. We're in January 2020, right? There's always going to be something going on, so get started today. Now, once the launch is complete, so let's say the 90-day sprint is over, you want to structure your personal life, your family life, and your business into increments. And I'm going to show that to you on the next slide when we finish this, because number 4 that I tell people all the time is work all the time that you work. Now, I didn't say work all the time. Work all the time that you work. And then you shut off the phone during family time and personal time. Now, I know some of you probably have issues with this, right? Because you probably look at MetaTrader 400 or 400 times a day. You're looking at it constantly, seeing if the trade is coming to blue so you can close it out and stuff like that. And when it's in red, you've got anxiety, wondering if it's ever going to turn around. But there are times in the day or the week that you've got to put your phone aside. When I'm with my wife, I try not to touch the phone much. Like if we're actually spending time together, that could be on a date or it could be watching a show together. I try not to look at my phone. All right. When I'm with my kids, I take my kids on dates every week. I've done it for 10 years. My phone, it's not that it's shut off, because I do have to have my phone for an emergency, but I don't look at my phone when I'm on dates with my kids. Those kids need my undivided attention. They need a father in their life. All right. And so it's important for you to have that time where you literally pull yourself away from your addictive phone. All right. And you actually have a life outside of your business. Now, this is how to structure it. I tell people all the time that their calendar is their boss. Look at my calendar. This is an exact example of what my calendar looks like. This is a real life example, screenshots that I actually took of my calendar. Now, your calendar is your boss. You don't have a calendar, I'm going to tell you, you don't schedule anything in your calendar. You're scheduling seasons of nothing in your future. For too many individuals, their calendars are empty. In fact, they don't even look at their calendar, and they wonder why their bank accounts are empty. They wonder why their minds are empty. They wonder why their happiness, they're empty. Their relationships are empty. They schedule seasons of nothing today and in their future because they have nothing laid out. Remember, the good book says, it says, he who builds a tower, who doesn't count the cost, right? Like, we all have to have a blueprint. Now, people tell me all the time, I just don't have enough time. I'm super busy with that. I got multiple jobs, kids. I'm a single mom, single dad. Look, you can either have $1 million or a million excuses, but you can't have both. If you say I'm too busy to do the business, too busy to trade, excuses always sound best to those who make them. So let me break this down. I really have broken this down to a science because I want you guys to realize that you actually have more time than you think. Now, most people, they work 8 hours a day. Some work 12, some work 16, but 8 hours a day, average person. That leaves 16 hours left. Let's say you work or sleep 8 hours, some are more, some are less. So you've got 8 hours left in the day. Now, let's give you 4 hours of time in the day. That means getting ready, driving to and from work, family time, personal time, even TV. We put the gym time in there, etc. That leaves 4 hours left. Now, here's the key, guys. What you do with those 4 hours determine the quality of your life, how much you make, the impact you make, the lives that you change, all right? Now, let's say that when you look at all those numbers, you only have 2 hours. Guess what? You can still be successful with 2 hours a day. I'm working full-time on my job, part-time on my fortune. That's what Jim Rohn told me. Guys, there's no more excuses for lack of time being the reason why someone can't build a business or trade. It's not lack of time. It's like Zig said, it's lack of direction. It's lack of desire, right? Sometimes you got to sleep less hours. Now, that doesn't mean forever, but maybe for a period of time to change your situation, you do need to sleep less hours. You got to make it happen on the side unless you want to spend the rest of your life working to make somebody else's dreams come true. So I hope you guys get a chance to screenshot this here, either on your phone or computer. If you haven't, do it right now. Share it on social media, because this is going to be one of the major contributors to your success, is how you actually structure your day. Now, every morning, I have morning rituals step-by-step. You can screenshot this as well. I can get you the documents. All you have to do is hit me up on social media. But I do have daily habits. Now, this is what separates me from most people. Look, most of the people who are in the building that I'm in, where I have my office, I probably make more than the majority of those individuals. And guess who's the first one here every morning? Me. It's pitch dark. I've already been to the gym, done personal development. I look out, the parking lot's empty. Nobody's here. And yet I'm the one who least needs to be here. Morning rituals have changed my life. They've shaped my life. I have my 2020 top goals. I look at this twice a day. I have my business of financial goals, marriage goals, spiritual goals, physical goals, family goals, mindset goals. Guy said to me one time when he looked at this, he goes, my gosh, he said, don't you get tired just doing all this stuff? I said, I'd get tired if I was broke. I mean, what's tiring is being broke and working for somebody else, doing stuff that you don't enjoy. That to me is tiring, because either way, whether you're going to be successful or unsuccessful, you're going to be tired. So I was tired when I was unsuccessful working for somebody else, and I'm tired when I build the business and do what I do every day. Either way, you're going to be tired. But I'll tell you what, I'd rather be tired and energetic about the check I get every Friday and the money I make trading than be broken in the situation most people are in and be tired. I mean, it can't be much worse than that. Your time broke, you're financially broke, your relationship broke, emotionally broke. No way, I'm going after my dreams, right? So there's an app called Strides. It's on iPhone. Android has their own, basically. All you have to look up is like goal tracker, habit tracker. But basically the bottom line is I've used this for about 7 years. It's a free app. And it is a daily tracker. It tracks what I need to do. So here's what I tell you guys to do. You need to jot down the top 5 things that you need to accomplish every day, whatever those things are. I don't care what they are. It could be going to the gym. It could be being on a webinar like this. It could be prospecting 5 people a day. Whatever that case is, whatever it is, you write down. Now, on my habit tracker, I've got, probably, I'd say like 19 things on my Strides app. Like if I look at my Strides app right now as we speak, yeah, I literally have about 19 things on that list. But I tell people all you need is the top 5, something to hold you accountable. I do have a video. It's called How I Get So Much Done Each Day. You can type it in on YouTube, How I Get So Much Done Each Day. I do have the link for that as well, but it actually shows how I actually use that goal and habit tracker to keep myself accountable throughout the day. Tony Robbins, I love what he said here today. He said, I've seen business moguls achieve their ultimate goals, but still live in frustration, worry, and fear. What's preventing these successful people from being happy? He said the answer is that they focused on achievement, not fulfillment. So they focused too much on going chairman. They focused too much on creating a 7-figure account, right? He said extraordinary accomplishment does not guarantee extraordinary joy, happiness, love, and a sense of meaning. He said these 2 skill sets feed off each other and makes me believe that success without fulfillment is failure. Think about that for a second. Think of how many of you have become successful in your life and you're now single, and maybe you don't want to be single. Some of you probably do want to be single, but look at that. Maybe you've lost relationships with your kids. You've lost that connection, right? So fulfillment is what we're after. Legacy is what we're after. Making an impact is what we should be after. Now, in the selfie world where so many people are selfish, a lot of people are after achievement, fame, and they don't care about the fulfillment. They think it comes through likes, comments, and shares, right? Now, Brian Tracy, one of my favorites, I really like this, and I want you guys to listen to this. He said, be wary of the high price of putting too much focus on any single aspect of your life. So that could be physical health. You're at the gym 3 hours a day, or you're working too hard on the business. You're excluding everything else. He said, and this is the key, go for a whole life success. Balance in all the aspects of life that are important to you: business, finances, health, well-being, spirituality, family, relationships, lifestyle. Guys, that right there, man, if you were to screenshot that, you know what? I need to go after a whole life success. I'm sick and tired of being in good physical health, but having a crappy relationship. I'm sick and tired of maybe having a good relationship, but my business is just continually stagnant, not having success. And guess what? You can have all of the success that you want to if you will discipline yourself and create those rituals, those daily rituals. They're going to help you be successful in different areas. Now, one of my favorite scriptures from the good book, whether you believe in the good book or not, it doesn't matter. I want to share this to you because the principle is true. It says, what profits a man or woman or person to gain the whole world? So that's the praise and the accolades of the world. It's your rank, it's your bank account, your investments, the material things you have in life, and lose his own soul. That could be your family life, your salvation, your life, whatever it is, at the expense of others. So here you've tried to become successful, and all of those things have been at the expense of your own happiness. You don't feel fulfilled. You don't have this life of purpose. You may have a lot of money in your bank account, but your emotional bank is empty. You don't have good relationships with people. Your spouse or significant other resents you. Maybe your kids resent you. And that's why this picture right here is I put God first, family, and business. Now look, there is no question about it. To be successful as an entrepreneur, it takes a lot of effort. But guess what? It also takes a lot of effort to be broke. So the effort that you put in is absolutely worth it. It is worth the effort that you put in to become successful, but also to leave a legacy and an impact. I think that so many people, I'm going to take this off the screen share. I think that there's too many people who feel like in order for them to, be successful, if I could just make money so I can leave an inheritance to my children's children's children. Guys, here's the reality. You leave that inheritance, and guess what they're going to do with it? They're going to blow all the damn money. They're going to buy boats, homes, cars, etc. They're going to blow all your money. You would have worked for decades. And what did that actually teach them? It didn't teach them jack shit, except to take the money and go spend it just as if somebody won the lottery. 95% end up filing bankruptcy, right? It's what you're teaching along the way that leaves the legacy. It's not the house, it's not the cars, it's not the bank account. It's what did they learn along the way? Could they actually say, my father or my mother had an impeccable work ethic and spent time with me? See, I know if something were to happen to me today, that my own children could say, my dad loved me and he really tried hard to spend time with me. And yet they know that I have a very good work ethic at the same time, but it has not come at the expense of spending time with them. My wife knows that when I get to the top, she will be there with me, because I would have not lost her along the way trying to achieve Chairman 500, trying to achieve a multiple seven-figure trading account. So guys, that's my trading for today, but here's what I want to do before you jump off. Inside the chat box, and Roger, you can control this. Inside the chat box, any questions you guys have, I want you to go ahead and ask those questions. And Roger, you can post some as well if you want to. And I'd like to take the time to respond, because this subject to me is very important. I see so many people who do become successful and they're freaking miserable. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this subject today. So with that, Roger, I'll turn it to you.
Okay, so guys, there is a chat box there. Put all your questions there, and I'll make sure that Brandon gets to answer them. Brandon, you're absolutely right. That's not a training I've heard before, and it would make a world of difference, because I see so many people who come into this business and they fail because their partners aren't with them. They don't support them, and it's like a battle between one partner and the other, and both sides lose. The business loses because the wife might not support the husband, or vice versa. But if you actually make the changes that you need to sort of put the whole thing together, it can work. I did the same thing with my previous business. I ran my business for 20 years with my wife, and we worked so closely. And I had family and friends who said, I don't know how you could be with her as much as you're with her, but I love my wife to death. And I spent every moment that it was available with her, and the business thrived and the relationship thrived. And you're absolutely right, but nobody ever talks about it. I know with Simon Brooks, and I've known Simon for 30 years, and I know that one of the reasons that Simon has been so successful is because you couldn't say that he ever puts anything in front of Julie, or that he puts anything in front of his business, and Julie supports him 100%. And nobody ever talks about that kind of thing. So yeah, amazing training. I'm very impressed. Guys, nobody has put a question. I can't believe that no one has any questions whatsoever, even if we're not on this topic. It's something that strikes me as I was actually watching this, and I was watching all the names of the people coming in. It's amazing how many people don't come to these training events that we put on, and they don't even have to travel. All you got to do is switch your computer on. And we have people on this call. We've got Brandon Boyd, we've got Simon Brooks, we've got Joe Gomez, we've got multi-millionaires who make it to every single call, and guys who are flat broke and don't make it to a call. Never understand it. Really, really don't understand it. Because the guys who are multi-millionaires got there because they were on every single call. And that's what everyone needs to be doing. But being on the call and attending the call isn't enough, because you need to be doing something about it. And you need to be making boatloads of notes. I make copious notes at every single session that we come on. And you then got to apply this stuff, and you've got to do something about it. Joe's preaching it every single Thursday. He's teaching us what to do, but he's telling everybody, you've got to go put this stuff into action. And these guys are actually doing, I see every single one of them doing what they tell you to do. They don't just say, do as I say, not as I do. It's the other way around. It's do as I do. And that's what we've all got to get. We've all get into the habit of copying these things. And I've actually put Strides on my phone because I've never heard of the app, so I appreciate that as well.
Roger,
Anyone has any questions?
Roger, can I just jump in?
Certainly can, mate.
The interesting thing is, it's like I've got one of my leaders in India, Simranjeet, and it's about 1:30 in the morning where she is.
Yep.
Yet committed. She's on this call, and she's been in the networking industry for 20 years. That's commitment. That really is commitment. But you're right. The majority of people that need this aren't on it. It's like, I know if I can go on one training and just get one ingredient, I can learn. My ingredient for tonight is now. No opportunities wasted. Jot it down. Jot it down. I will use and abuse that. In the next few weeks, I will use and abuse that all the time. And as you know, I recruit about one person a day. So the stuff that I'm going to be launching, or we're going to be launching at the Leadership Weekend, which is at the end of this weekend, will be mind-blowing. There's going to be people on this Zoom right now that haven't sponsored anybody, that I guarantee, and that's a strong word to use, that they will walk away from that event having their two. And that will be amazing. And I tell you now, guys, all you folks that are in the UK, some of you really piss me off. Why? Because you're not coming to the event, even just for the day tickets. There are day tickets. Day tickets are a tenner. 10 frigging quid. And you're going to be walking away from that event understanding, knowing what to do, where to do it, how to do it, why to do it, with whom to do it with. Okay, fair enough, if you can't stay overnight, fine. But at least you can attend the content. Now, obviously, we got a couple of people flying in from Holland, people coming in from Northern Ireland, We got somebody who's coming down from, who's Malcolm was actually on, from the Isle of Scilly or whatever. They've got to get a boat from north of Scotland onto the main line, and then they've got a 10-hour drive down. That's commitment. That is commitment. We're talking planes, trains, automobiles, all the way to be at an event. But at least with these events, it costs you jack diddly squat. All you got to do is switch your computer on. Anyway, I will get off my soapbox, and I've done enough. And I'm going to hand it back to you, Rog.
Okay, cheers. I do have one question for you, Brandon. This has come through from Bruno, but he's put it through on WhatsApp for me. But the question is, could we ask, did you start this business before you were married?
Yes. So I was single. I was 19, 21 years ago. I started. So it was about 5 years later, when I was 24, that I actually was married. And what I would say is, when I was single, obviously I had more time on my hands to be able to go out and build the business. And so what happened was, over time in my marriage, is I became more and more strict with my schedule as far as my calendar and stuff like that, because I had to be. You know, as we've had 6 children, I've become even more detailed as far as my rituals and stuff like that. I said, okay, I'm actually going to wake up earlier. So about 10 years ago, I started waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I know for some of you, you're just like, there's no way I can do that. Well, do whatever you need to do. But for me, I felt like, in order for me to get in my personal development, work out at the gym and stuff like that, I got to be up a little bit earlier. And so even if I had to take a nap later at lunchtime, which I don't, but even if I had to, I could. And so once I actually got married, I said, okay, obviously my marriage is my top priority. No amount of success can compensate for failure in the home. That's what Abraham said. No amount of success can compensate for failure in the home. And so my home life was more important than my business life, because businesses come and go, partners come and go, products come and go. But my marriage, I don't want it to come and go, right? And for too many people, it's just coming and going and coming and going all the time. And so I wanted to make that the top priority of my life, and the business just so happens to be with that. So I have become more disciplined over time.
Fantastic. Brandon, thank you for that. Okay, guys, one more comment here. This is from Stevie. I find it hard to focus and get distracted and take too many projects on, and what happens? None get off the ground. More a statement, I think, than a question. But yeah, I understand that.
Well, I'll comment on that. A man who tries to catch 2 rabbits won't catch either. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. When you got too many irons in the fire and you're trying to get all these things going, guess what happens? You never really have enough laser focus to make it even work. That's why I tell people, like, what does it take to be successful? It takes laser focus and consistency. If I start a fire and I harness the power of the sun through a magnifying glass, if I keep moving the magnifying glass, the fire is not going to start. It takes focus through that glass, and then it takes consistency. So you gotta have less projects. I mean, it's like I focus on like 1 or 2 things at a time. I don't do more than 2 projects, you know. In fact, it's better. You know, there's a book written last year called The One Thing. It's just better to focus on one thing and go on 100 miles an hour and just make it work.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, I'm going to make sure this recording gets out really, really quickly. I would recommend everybody watches it all over again, takes those screenshots if you didn't. The information you need is here, so time to use it. Excuse me, a little tickly cough that I can't get rid of. We're going to see you on Wednesday for the Zoom call. Guys, we need to get as many people as possible on these Zoom calls right now. Simon's doing, we've got Simon Jeet on the call. Excuse me. They're doing 2 Zooms a day in India, and they're getting 100 people on each one. 2 a day, 100 people on each call. We're getting 1 a week, and we struggle getting anything like that kind of number. And we're not going to get the growth and momentum that we need unless we all get off our backside and we all start inviting people. And really, It's like it's for your own benefit. Get 2 people, you're not paying your subscription. That gives you more money that you can trade with. And that just the subscription money alone, put into your trading account every month and compound it, it will make you financially free. All you've got to do is find 2 people. So get people onto the call on Wednesday. We've got Joe's training on Thursday as well. And we have the leadership weekend this weekend. So we've got a busy week in front of us. Let's make the most of it. Speak to you all soon, guys. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, guys.
See you guys.